Hotel brothers and sisters, Black Power is always giving honor to the Creator, giving honor to the ancestors. Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul, my sister, my in-laws, my father, my subscribers, my viewers, my street law soldiers, my family, and all my brothers and sisters that are out here fighting for the liberation and salvation of our black nation. What I want to discuss briefly today is, so for those who don't know, because a lot of us don't know, I'm going to be talking about showing y'all, the richest, wealthiest black house nigga slaves and their worth. And then I'm going to do a follow-up and let you know what's going on with them. Now, for those who don't know, this is the richest black man on the planet. The richest black person, period, on the planet. This is Robert F. Smith. His assets, he's worth $3.3 billion. I'll let you do the research on your own, but I'm just giving you the names and the basic information. Next is Aunt Jemima Winfrey, Oprah, who's worth $3.1 billion. This black chimpanzee, red-eye ice, this red-eye jungle ape, Michael Jordan, he is $1.3 billion. Miss Diddy, she's worth $620 million. Tiger Woods, he would have been in the billions if he hadn't had so much of a thirst for this frozen dinner pussy bitch. Those white bitches that he so dearly loves. And he says he's not black, he's a caliber persuasion, whatever the fuck that is. You are a nigga. And you should have learned your lesson when the goddamn cracker was getting ready to send your ass to jail for sleeping with them goddamn Beckys. $590 million. Bob Johnson, Hoppin' Bob Johnson, who sold the black community out with BET for years, starting from Video Soul with Donnie Simpson back in the early 80s. How you acquired all of the attention, money, donations, and support from the black community, and then you left them hanging and sold BET to the goddamn devil, Viacom. $580 million. Mariah, Bipolar Carey, $510 million. Magic Johnson, $500 million. I probably $2 or $3 million goes to his son's wardrobe so he can wear dresses and stilettos. Jay-Z, Joe Camel, this puff wheat lip, bubble-eyed motherfucker, $810 million. Beyonce, the Creole, $300 million. Miss Russell, Hustle Simmons, $340 million. Berry Gordy, $345 million. Big Brother Master P, $350 million. For those who may not know him, I'll let you do the work on him. Donahue Peoples, 350 million. The Big Field Lake Coon, Shaq, 350 million. Bill Cosby, he's down to about 400 million. Tyler Perry, this queen went down to 600 million. Now, Sheila Johnson, Bob Johnson's wife, who has done more for the black community than, her cooning ass husband, that house nigga husband of hers. And she has more money than him. She's at 750 million. Miss Dre, 830 million. Now, these numbers have went up within the last 2 or 3 years. So, a lot of them are billionaires now. But this is not the most recent statistic. However, it's pretty accurate, but it's not on the nose. Most of them are more wealthier now than they were when this statistic came out in the Fortune 500. Now, before I get on to the my main topic, I want to inform you about this super bitch, which is supposed to be, I'm not sure if this is the movie that's coming out, the name of the movie that's coming out, but it's about this faggot here. This is in D.C., Southeast D.C., Washington, D.C. And this motherfucker, he's supposed to be the new superhero coming out, the gay superhero that's coming out, in which a movie, they are starting production as early as February. And, this motherfucking faggot, this young boy flips over, he can do somersaults, cartwheels, and shoot his 9 at the same time or some shit like that. However, when Lee Daniels heard about it, Lee Daniels shot straight to D.C., picked him up. Now he's in L.A. with Lee Daniels, staying with Lee Daniels. And Lee Daniels is going to direct this movie about this gay superhero. And so this is just to let you know, brothers and sisters, how fucked up the game is now. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. And the heterosexual black man is public enemy number 1. He's the least most respected and the most sought after person for extermination on the planet. Not only by this white nationalism shit, but by niggas too. Because the gay movement in the black community is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And this is just to let you know. Now, what will our children think of this when they watch this movie in the theaters about this faggot who is going to be beating up gangbangers and regular heterosexual young men and men, and then go home and eat a dick? This is the sick shit. This is the direction that this motherfucker Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, and Oprah, and all these motherfuckers are taking our babies. And we got to stop this. We got to find a way to combat this shit and to destroy it. Personally, I don't have nothing against a grown man and what he does in the privacy of his home, but when it affects babies and when you try to cram this motherfucking sickness down the mouths of the black community and shove it down the throats of our babies, then I have a serious motherfucking problem with it. This wall, once again, when you're dealing with the system of racism, white supremacy, white inferiority, really, I don't need to use the term because nothing is superior about the Ice Age, about the cave dog, nothing. And this German shepherd head motherfucker here is determined to get this wall built. But once again, these Democrats that you niggas love so much, this Democratic Party bullshit, but you need to separate yourselves from this shit, from both sides. But the Democrats are the ones holding out. Give him the motherfucking money, let him build the wall. It's not your money. But see, you're not going to do it. You sell out niggas because you're selling your own people out. You black motherfucking niggas, you house nigga, you jigaboo motherfuckers, you bojangling ass niggas are selling the black community out. Because you know that the average black household is 1 to 2 checks away from motherfucking poverty and homelessness. That these crackers and yourself, you house niggas, Maxine Waters, Elijah Mudsnake Cummings, and the rest of you motherfucking jigaboo ass niggas can afford to fall back for months. And so, you know, you niggas are going to learn a lesson about this goddamn Democratic Party bullshit. Now, what I want to talk about is the history of comedy, black comedy, where it originally started with slavery, where our ancestors used to mock the slave master, imitate the slave master, you know, when they were in the slave quarters and what have you. And the slave master would hear that shit and have them imitate him on the front steps in the front porch of the master's house for laughs. But most of all, our ancestors had to make fun of themselves to make the slave master laugh. And that's been going on and on for centuries. You know, and because comedy is really discussing the pain, agony, and struggle of a people and looking for some relief of the behaviors of those situations for some laughter. You know, I'll make you laugh, man. And it's the same way today. It's just the language is different. You know, and some of our people that we honor have buck danced and bootlicked for so many years. A lot of them were selfish. You know, Hattie McDaniels, who used to play it and Gone in the Wind, you know, played roles where she was just this Aunt Jemima getting smacked around. But she used to invite Clark Gable over her house and cook dinner for him every Sunday. You know, really acting like a slave. And she won an Oscar. Why couldn't Dorothy Dandridge win an Oscar? Why couldn't Canada Lee? Why did it have to be somebody that was a shoe shine, bojangling motherfucker? Moms Mabley. This is Moms Mabley. Mary Aiken was her real name. This is her in her younger years. I believe she, other than Queen Latifah, she probably, and Bessie Smith and Billie Holiday, she probably was the most, the biggest lesbian in the business. And she got laughs of making fun of herself, coming on stage with these big clown shoes on, with no teeth in her fucking mouth, with this bug-eyed look, because that is typical of the house Negro. Same way with this motherfucking coon, Jimmy Walker, who was a buffoon on the show Good Times. He was a buffoon. He was undernourished, big, lanky, skinny, that worked in a chicken shack, that went through so many changes and couldn't think straight, could never get himself or his family out of the hood. Now this nigga here, Steppin' Fetchit, who dated nothing but Ice Apes, but he played the role of the typical dumb nigga, slave, eyes, knows nothing, fucking roles. That's all he played. But yet, he had white women, and he was one of the richest black men in America at the time. And all he had stables of white bitches. 3 and 4 white bitches in one house. And they thought that was, that they had arrived, that they had the white man's prize. And there's the roles he used to play. I was a stupid nigga. I was not knowing my names, huh? And they took pride in acting like a goddamn ass. A motherfucking, bojangling, non-educated, fried chicken and watermelon, motherfucking minstrel ass nigga. Muhammad Ali really had to check him and really tried to help him. But as you can see, and his name, I think it was Lincoln Monroe, Theodore Lincoln Monroe Kennedy Roosevelt or something. He had 5 names. And they were all named after a president. Amos and Andy. And this is the type of shit that we should have gotten away from. And I'm going to show you how we went right back to this shit. Kingfish. Amos, Andy, Kingfish, Sapphire, and all this. I need to borrow a nickel to Wednesday. And we haven't gone away from it. The mentality is still there. Just like Hattie McDaniels. Same mentality. Raising the Ice Apes children. Leaving yours behind. Same way as in slavery. Bert Williams was the original, one of the first professional stand-up comedians who used to do mime a lot. That's the silent movie shit. And he was loved by crackers for being the dumb nigga. And see, When he wasn't in film, he used to powder his face white. Powder his face white to look white. Because he couldn't stand among the whites in his natural complexion. So he done his best to look white when he was off screen and played the dumb nigga with the chicken suit on screen. Same way with Hattie McDaniels. You know how she really, and you know they used her to put her on the front of the pancake box, Aunt Jemima. And they took pride in this shit. Quit that monkey shine. All that type of shit. And she won an Oscar for being a goddamn bed wench and a fucking mammy. All the other actors that were out at the time, Belafonte. You know, what about the movies that all the brothers and sisters played in? Dorothy Dandridge, you know, Billie Holiday, all those other stars that were looked over, and they give an Oscar to someone that's a goddamn mammy dressed up like she was still in slavery on a plantation. Sidney Poitier the same way. You know, he played these movies where he was the sole Negro that bowed down to motherfucking crackers. He wins an Oscar. You know, and you couldn't tell this nigga nothing. This spook motherfucker, you couldn't tell him nothing. He thought he had arrived for catering to motherfucking white folks. And so I don't want to hear people talking about, you know, all the stuff that they went through. You didn't go through nothing to help the other people. You went through that shit for self-gain, for self-fulfillment. Because there's nothing about you, none of you niggas. I've read nothing about where you done anything for the black community. With the exception of brothers like Canada Lee, who refused to buck dance and bojangle, same as Paul Robeson. They refused to do that. And what happened to Canada Lee? They literally threw him on the street, had him shining shoes at the end of his life, near the end of his life. He was obscure, you know, destitute and fucked up. And he didn't get any help from Hattie McDaniels, Poitier, or none of them. None of them helped him. And he was a far better actor than both of them. Because he wouldn't bow down. He was blackballed. Mantan Moreland. This is the big bug-eyed shit. You know, where, you know, they got to jump around on the floor like a jumping bean and stick their eyes out, bulge their eyes out of this fucking sockets. It is said that he literally pushed his eyeballs out of the socket. You know, doing this to satisfy Whitey and for self-gratification. Because I've never heard of Mantan Moreland doing anything for the black community either. And this is the, you know, the same soup warmed over. Bernie Mac, who's one of my favorite comedians, but had that same shit. You see that, America? You know, the same bullshit. That same bug-eyed shit. That same bug-eyed, heavily melanated, eyes knows nothing, sir. That type of shit. The mentality stays the same. The Jeffersons, about this is about, couple, family, black family come out of the hood, live up in the high rise on the east side. But Weezy had to force George into helping his people out. George was selfish, stingy, and that type of message sent signals all through the black community. Because after this show, that's when the beginning of selfishness really took off in the black community. Good times. Where family, talented family, with the buffoon, you got the coon, you got the militant midget, you got Thelma, Walona, who they think that their looks can get them out of the hood, but the black man, James, has to scuffle, taking menial jobs, working for minimum wage, no education, and with Florida, who's continually to pray to a white Jesus to get out of the hood. And no matter what happened, what type of breakthroughs they had, they never got out of the hood. And that's the reason why John Amos left. The reason why he left the show. Because there was no progress in the scripts. Benson, the first modern day house nigga, clean and wipe the asses of crackers on primetime television. He just wore a suit. Now, he's supposed to have been educated, but how did he end up cleaning the crackers' toilets in their house and cooking? Nell Carter the same way. Doesn't have a man, single, takes on the white kids as if they were theirs. These ice apes as if they were theirs. The chief who doesn't have a wife, but he doesn't want the black house wench. Although he could have her at his disposal, because she let it be known. Give me a break. And she continued to eat, eat away her feelings because she was into lesbianism and a whole bunch of other things. And she was obese and she ate to her feelings. So she should have been named Give Me a Cake. Sanford and Son. Fred, who's hardcore, had a rough life trying to make it, willing to white knuckle it in the hood. But he has a son that acts like a cold-blooded bitch, Lamont, who doesn't want to take any shortcuts or use any schemes to try to get up out of the goddamn hood. He would rather see his father sell goddamn bathtubs, use sinks, and all this bullshit. The Cosbys. This went over people's heads because, the black community was so distant from being like the Huxtables. In all actuality, every black household should have had the opportunity to be Huxtables. They were well educated. Both parents had prestigious jobs. And they tried to pass it on to their children. And so we looked at that as though it's too good to be true. But that was just the message Bill Cosby was trying to send. that we can rise above our situations and conditions and our way of thinking and the mentality of a hood rat or a thug. Living Color, which they made fun and promoted homosexuality as well. Keenan Ivory Wayans and the Wayans gang and Jamie Foxx, all they delved into that homosexual element on that show. Martin Lawrence, who I know personally. I know him personally. We lived in the same buildings together. And, this Shanae bullshit. Every character on the show, he was talking about somebody that lived around out in the hood. And I don't have time to go into all that, but that's what that was about. I'm going to do a part 2 to this shortly, brothers and sisters. I've run out of time right now, so I'm going to do part 2 to this. So hang tight. Hotep, Black Power.